The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
My name is Ty Cohen, and I want to welcome you to this presentation. We're going to have some fun. I just had my serious voice on, but I want to get out of that because we are going to have some fun. I've got two great guys here with me, two partners of mine, two good friends of mine, two just all around, just really awesome gentlemen that I'm extremely proud to be sharing this platform with. And I'm also, glad that you took a minute out of your life to be joining us because we've got something extra special for you. Now, what I want to do before we get started is I want to make sure that everyone can hear my voice, number one, and see the screen, number two. So right now, if you can hear my voice, let's just get this out of the way and just put yes into the questions box. Now, the other reason why I want you to do this is because I want you to get familiar with using that questions box, right? I'm a firm believer if you've been on any of my webinars, any of my presentations, you'll know that I have a saying, and that saying goes that there's no such thing as a dumb question, okay? Judy says there is an echo. Is anyone hearing an echo here? We've got Gregory from NYC, Florida. We've got Sandy, awesome, Brisbane, Australia. Mark, it's got to be pretty late for you, right? What is it, about 2 in the morning right now? We've
You
got,
sound a little far from the mic.
do I really? Let's see here. That's what happens when you switch from going to the expensive mics from the cheap ones, right? All right, so we've got Frank from Houston, Texas. So everyone can hear my voice and you can see the screen as well. Tony from Glasgow. Tony says it's 2 a.m. in the UK there. All right, awesome. So I want to bring on these two gentlemen as well. We've got Marquell, Russel. Marquell, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Awesome. You sound nice and clear. And then we also have Greg Cesar. Greg, are you there as well?
Yes, I am.
All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to be showing you how to basically shape your future. Shape your future, and that is how to build a six-figure business in 2016. Now, I know that Marquell does a lot of coaching, and he may have some of his coaching students on this call. I know that Greg has a huge following, and he may have some folks that follow him, and I know that myself, I might have some individuals that are already doing six figures, and if that's the case, some of what we're going to share with you will take you to the next level. Like the biggest thing for me, and I'm sure that Greg and Marquell can attest to this, when I was at that point where I was doing $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. As a matter of fact, Greg, I don't know if you remember, but I remember maybe about 11 years ago, we were talking about this, and it was like getting past that point. Like, how do you break past that $20,000 a month point? How do you break past that $10,000 a month point that you're at? And hopefully, with what we'll share with you on this webinar, it'll get you past that. And if you're not doing that yet, it'll get you to a point where you're doing the numbers that you want to do. All right. So does that sound good, fellas? Are you ready?
Yeah, and you want to know something. When we had that conversation, it's the hardest thing is to go from 0 to 500 a month to 1,000 a month. But to go from 1,000 a month to 20,000 a month is way easier, and the reason is it's mindset. When you're not making anything, it's not that right mindset. But as soon as you hit the mindset and you start making it, anything, even if it's $1 a month, going from $1 to 1,000 is easy. Going from 0 to $1 is not when you don't have that right mindset. So I remember that conversation vividly.
Right. Right. So that's it. Awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. So that we'll start with, just the fact that the first thing that you have to do is, since we're on the topic of mindset, is to decide. All right, make the decision as to where it is that you want to go, what type of business. Sometimes we talk about what type of business we want to start, but we don't get into the details, right? And when I say get into the details, I don't mean overanalyze, but I mean just to make a decision as to where do you see yourself uh, 6 months from now, a year from now, 6 years from now, right? So the first step is to decide. And Greg, do you want to elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, so as you look at the new year coming up, and by the way, folks, Your 2016 plan doesn't start January 1st. It starts now. You've got 2.5 weeks to start planning and making a decision of where you want to be in 2016. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to decide either I can do it or I can't do it. Whichever one you decide, you are absolutely correct. The brain is a very easy thing to manipulate. If you tell yourself I can do it, your brain will look for every reason why you can. And if you tell yourself I can't do it, your brain will look for every reason why it can't. So today you have to make a decision. Either I'm going to make 2016 my year or I'm not, and making it your year may be you're just getting started, I'm going to start making money, or I'm at the $5,000 a month threshold and I want to get to $20,000 a month. That you're going to want to decide is this your hobby or is this your craft? Is internet marketing and starting your own business your hobby, a way to make a little bit of extra money, or is this your craft? And let's talk about what we mean by that. Would you go to a doctor who the last time that doctor saw anything in the medical books was 20, 30 years ago? Right? Would you want to be seen by that doctor? I surely would not, because that's not his or her craft. When it's your craft, you're going to do everything you can to be good at that craft. There's a reason why Ty, myself, Marquell, we mastermind. Marquell, you just came from an event last week. I was at one 2 weeks ago, because this is your craft. This is what you are good at, and this is what you decided to be good at. So guys, you've got to decide. Don't make this a hobby, make it your craft. And if it's your craft, you want to be known for what you are doing. The other one is whether you want to scale or whether you want to stay where you're at. Many of you are happy making an extra $100 a month. Maybe that you've reached your goal, and if you've reached your goal, it's time to expand your goal and change that into something else. So part of the plan is going to be deciding. Guys, you got to decide whether this is a hobby, a joke, or whether this is something that you really want to do. Did you guys want to add anything to that?
Marquell? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. I mean, that's. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep. You're loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's really the key, especially when you was talking about, Greg, being a hobby or a craft. Because when I first got involved in this whole online world, I wasn't sure if it was really real, like if you could really make money. So I was kind of toe dipping a little bit. But when I actually decided to immerse myself and said, okay, I'm just gonna go all in. When I decided to go all in, I was able to finally start making some money because I broke that mindset, like you was talking about, Greg. And once I broke that mindset, I mean, everything really started to snowball. So I totally agree. So that's really key.
Isn't it amazing how you can just approach something when you're first starting it, right? Like the skepticism in us will just really play tricks on us. It'll tell us that because we're used to working, it may be a 9 to 5, a traditional job where you get paid for each hour that you put in. Because we're used to that, right? We're conditioned to that. We look at anything outside of that as a hobby. And
Right.
because of such, we don't put the amount of effort, we don't put the amount of time, and most importantly, we don't put the belief that we really should into that thing. So, again, going back to Greg, what you said before at the very beginning, it's a mindset shift. So when you start to really look at this, even though no one else around you, even though anyone within your immediate family may not be able to see it, they may not be able to see it because the same conditioning that you underwent with thinking that, okay, in order for me to make money, I have to be at my 9 to 5. They're still subjected to. So you have to understand that I'm seeing things a little bit differently than everyone else that's around me. Unless you're surrounding yourself with people that are already in that environment, that are already part of that culture. So again, you approach this thing as a hobby, as a craft, you get hobby-like results. When you approach this thing as this is what I'm going to do, this is where I see myself a year, 5 years, 20 years from now. This is what I'm going to be successful at. When you approach it from that mindset, things totally change. It becomes totally different. All right. Does anyone have any questions on that? Again, we want this to be we don't want this to be a presentation where we're just speaking to you. We want you guys, we encourage, ladies and gentlemen, we encourage you to ask questions. So anything that we cover, if we're not totally clear on it, if you want us to dig a little bit deeper into it, please ask your questions, okay? So we've got, understand perfectly, says David. Awesome. Awesome. I like that. Tom says, hi, everyone. Tom's from Egypt. Good to have you, Tom. All right. So we can move on to the next one. Let's go.
Awesome. So the next thing is setting your plan for the future. Like I said, most people, and I talk to a lot of people because I've been doing this for a long time, January 1st, it's the new year, they just had some turkey or some soup in the morning, and they say, okay, let me sit down and write my plan. Let me plan out what I'm going to do this year. It's too late. January 1st is when you start to execute the steps. That's not when you sit down and write down what you're going to do that year.
Right.
You know how many times I've heard someone say on their birthdays is when they write out their plans for the next year. The day of your birthday was the new beginning. That's when you should be executing what that new plan is. So you have to start, as part of that decision process, is asking yourself, what do you want to do in the coming year? Who is Greg Cesar going to be in 2016? Who is Ty going to be? Who is Marquell going to be? Who is Bob going to be? Who is Tom going to be in 2016? So you decide who that is. And then you're going to ask yourself, okay, I know who I want to be. I want to be someone who's making money from home selling products on the internet. Now it's, how much do I want to make? If you don't know what that number is, then you're going to be stuck. And don't tell yourself, I want to make an extra $500. Because I hear that all the time. Oh, if only I could make 500. And I was there. I remember saying if I could make an extra 500, that would be great. No, your goal is if I can completely replace my full-time income and have an extra $20,000 left over at the end of the year with all my expenses paid and all my marketing expenses paid, that would be nice. So now you take that number. Right? It's not just I want to make 100,000, because remember, you're going to have expenses. You're going to have gas. You're going to have groceries. So what does that top line number look like? Because once you know what that number looks like, now you can start working backwards and say, okay, what do I need to do and to get there? Secondly, knowing that number, it keeps you on target. Because if your target is to make, let's say, $120,000 in the next 12 months, right? January 1st to December 31st, 2016. That means you need to make $10,000 a month. Well, what happens come February or March and you haven't made a dime yet? Well, that number has to change. You're no longer at $10,000 a month. You're now at, like, I can't do the math. It's about $12,000 or $15,000 a month for the next 8 months. So you have to know what that number looks like so you can understand whether you're going in the right direction or whether you're not. Secondly, that's going to help you determine what you sell and at what price point. So now the question is, how do you want to make that money? Do you want to sell products? Do you want to sell a service? Do you want to sell software? Right? Do you have the ability to sell a service? I had someone recently say to me they want to start selling consulting services to local businesses. And this person couldn't even FTP a website to a server. And I'm thinking, how do you plan on doing that? Right? There's some things you need to go through. So you've got to make your decision on what you want to sell: product, service, software. Do you want to do consulting? Do you want to do affiliate marketing? Make that decision. Okay? Once you do that, next you're going to start asking yourself, okay, who am I going to sell this service to? What's my target market? And if you want to sell to everyone, we have a saying in marketing: if you sell to everyone, or if you market to everyone, you sell to no one. So if you want to be a consultant, who's your target market? Are you working with chiropractors? Are you working with dentists? Don't say you want to go into a consulting business and you want to sell to every business on the planet. It's too hard. If you want to sell products, you want to sell information products, what do you want to sell? Is it weight loss? If you're an affiliate, what's your target? Is it CPA offers? Is it affiliate offers promoting ClickBank products? Make that decision. Know where you want to be. So once you've determined who is going to buy from you, the next and the most important thing is, where are they? This is the first thing that I do when I'm looking to go into a market. It's to answer the question, where are they? Because if I don't know where they are, how on God's green earth am I going to sell to them? People get stuck on this traffic thing. So I'll give you an example. Recently, I found a magazine that has a newsletter of like 500,000 people. I don't have a product in that marketplace. But I said to myself, there's 500,000 of them. I can create a product in an afternoon. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, who am I going to sell to and where are they? Because when you can answer that question, it's easy to sell, food to a room full of hungry contractors because you know where they're at. So make that decision. Understand where they are and how you're going to reach them. If you can't answer that how I'm going to reach them question, it's very difficult to make those sales. So next thing you want to do is once you know how you're going to, where they are, it's how I'm going to reach them. And that might be, I'm going to run ads on Google. Maybe there's a newsletter that I can advertise in, or maybe there's someone who has a list and they accept affiliate offers, so they're going to promote my product, right? We haven't even talked about monetization or what you're going to sell to them yet, because that's not important here. What's important is understanding who they are, where are they now, and how can you reach them. You can always figure out what you're going to sell. I like to use the example of, if I knew there were 100 hungry contractors getting off of work across the street and they haven't eaten in 4 or 5 hours, I could sell them stale bread and they would buy it. Why? Because they're hungry contractors. So once you do this, the next and very most important piece is write your plan down. If you have to, take a little business card, write it on that business card, and put it in your wallet or your purse. Every time you go to Starbucks, every time you go to the movies, every time you're doing something that's taking time away from your business, read that card. Read what your goal is. Read when you said you were going to achieve that goal. So every activity you do, look at your card and say to yourself, am I working towards this or am I working against this? Because everything you do is either working towards your goal or against your goal. The next thing is,
and Greg, just to stop right
Yep.
there for a second, I just want to, you covered something that's very important. That will be one of the most difficult things that you have to do. It'll be one of the most difficult decisions on a day-to-day basis that you're going to have to exercise, and that is to be disciplined enough to say, is what I'm working on right now bringing me closer to my goal, or is it driving me further away? All right. It's something that I have to exercise multiple times a day. I get so many people that reach out to me, that contact me to do joint ventures, that contact me about partnering up, that contact me about just new products, promotions, everything. And I have to look at each one on a case-by-case basis, and I'm sure Marquell and Greg, the same applies to you as well. And I have to say to myself, this sounds amazing, some of these ideas and some of the people that I get approached by. But I also have to say, is this going to be a distraction or is it going to be an asset to what I'm doing? All right, so if you get that right now, it took me several years to really get how important that is. But as someone that's starting out, as someone that's still growing their business, if you get this right now, you will have the advantage. I mean, you just can't possibly understand how much of an advantage just being disciplined enough to look at. Being focused and disciplined will help you to build your business and to build it much faster.
And the key to getting that discipline is knowing where, making those decisions and knowing where you're going. So let me give you an example. If you're in New York and you want to get to Florida, you put the coordinates in your GPS, and someone says, if you can get to Florida within 24 hours, there's $1 million check waiting for you, right? So guess what? You know what your goal is and you know when you need to get there. Now, as you're driving south, you see an exit that says, I don't know, Route 64 West. Why would you be going west when you've got a goal to go catch $1 million heading south? but you got to know where you are going to be able to get there. The next thing is set some timetables. Everything you do, set a timetable to it. Even if you miss that timetable, you know, you don't want to get in the habit of missing your timetables, but you've got to say to yourself, this is by when I want to get there. And if I miss it by a couple hours or a day or two, don't kill yourself over that. And it's important to set that timetable because when something comes in the way, you know what you need to, you know what you can turn away from and say, no, I'm not interested because that's a distraction. So that's why you've got to set those timetables. Now, in marketing, it's I want to get this website going or get the website live by January 15th. If that website's not up by the 16th, long as you're making progress, it's good. So I like to make a list of the things that I'm looking to do, and then I'll say, okay, when do I want to get this done? When do I want to get that done as well? The next thing is make your plans and timetables easily visible on a daily basis. That's where having that card in your wallet will help you. What I like to do is I like to take my little goal sheet and I will tape it to every mirror in my house. So every time I brush my teeth, every time I wash my face, I see that goal. And I will not take it down until I achieve my goal. Then the next thing I do is I always attach some level of reward to whatever I'm trying to do. So maybe I want to buy a new remote control airplane. And I'm dying for this remote control airplane. But what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'm going to build a new list. And until I get to 5,000 people on this list, I'm not buying the remote control airplane. And I promise you I will not buy that remote control airplane or whatever my reward is until I get that goal, until I achieve what I'm looking for. So now my goal is really to get the plane. The list is just the vehicle or the thing that's in my way to get to the plane that I want. So that's why you'll set your reward. The other thing I'll do with reward is I'll make them based on somebody else. So I may promise my wife something. So unless I achieve what I said I'm going to do, I can't get her what I promised her. So attach rewards to what you are looking to do. Accountability. This is important, folks. You need some level of accountability. You've got to be able to hold your feet by the fire. I'm going to tell you something. One of the biggest killers in sales and marketing is inaction. You study this product, you study this program, and you learn a million things. And then you go to bed that night, or you go watch TV that night. You need some form of accountability. You need something to get momentum, which is going to be your ally. So what you want to do is join a mastermind of like-minded people. Ty, myself, Marquell, we talk every single week, sometimes 2-3 times a week. Myself and a good friend of mine, Jim Edwards, we talk every Thursday at 10 a.m. for the last 5 years. Remember, folks, this is my craft. Many of you before tonight would have said, boy, that's a lot of wasted time. You're talking to people and you're talking with Jim every single week. This is my craft. This is why I'm good at what I do. So join a mastermind of like-minded people because they will motivate you. You will motivate them. You don't want to show up on that mastermind and say, I did nothing for the last 7 days. So set weekly goals that you discuss with that group. So when you connect with your mastermind group on whatever day you choose, you can say, here is where I'm going to go next week. Here's what I accomplished last week. So you are forced to take a step. One of the best lines I ever heard, Denzel Washington said it in a movie. He said it in the movie The Equalizer. It's not perfection that we are looking for, it's progress. Let me repeat that. It's not perfection we are looking for, it's progress. So even if you did one simple little thing, which might have been, my goal this week is to register my domain. That's it. Next week you show up on your mastermind and you say, hey guys, I achieved my goal. I registered the domain. Not only will you feel good that you accomplished something, but you got the progress. Okay? Very, very important. And then If you cannot find a mastermind group, which guys you can find when you're all in the internet marketing space, if you have to, go into the Warrior Forum and say, hey, I'm looking to create a mastermind group. I'd like to mastermind with someone who's doing Facebook, someone who's doing YouTube, someone who knows how to write copy. So what's happening? Now you're masterminding with a bunch of different people who have different skill sets that you can learn from that moves you forward. So if you can't find one, create one. No excuse. It's not too hard for you to call 2 or 3 people and say, hey, let's talk once a week for half an hour. That's not a difficult thing for you to do.
Yeah,
So
meetups are good as well for finding other people. There's now you'll find a lot of offline marketing meetups. You'll find a lot of online marketing meetups. So if you go to meetup.com and
why don't
type
you
in,
explain what Meetup is? Because I bet you a lot of people don't even know what that is.
you know what? You're absolutely right. So Meetup is actually it's a local group of like-minded individuals that have a common interest, that have a common hobby, and they get together usually on a set day or maybe once a week, twice a month, or something like that. And each one is different. And usually you'll find a meetup in most of the major cities and some of the smaller cities as well. And actually, meetups are now internationally. So if you're out in the UK, if you're out in Canada, if you're in Australia, there's probably a good chance that you'll find a meetup group there as well. So like I said, there's literally thousands upon thousands of meetups that are out there, and the subject matters range from everything to crocheting to knitting to lovers of horseback riding to marketing to uh, new couples to an area. All right, so it's meetup. Yes, David, that's correct. It's meetup.com, and David just put it into the questions box. I'll type it up as well. I'll put it in there. And Meetup is an awesome resource to go in and use, because in an industry like this, it's usually difficult to find folks that are near you that also have an interest, that have a passion or a desire to become an internet marketer, or that even know what the term online marketing or internet marketing means, right? Most of my closer relationships that are also internet marketers are based outside of where I'm at. I'm in North Carolina. So I've got some really great friends that are internet marketers, but they're scattered literally across the planet, right? Other countries and other states, West Coast, East Coast, South Coast, the South. And when I first moved here to North Carolina, the first thing I did was go to meetup.com, and I found a good buddy of mine, Teddy Garcia, who had a internet marketing meetup that he had started, and that was 10, 11 years ago, and we've become great friends ever since, and we get together, every couple of weeks, and there's also dozens of other people that join us at this meetup. So check out meetup.com. All right, so
You
Greg,
want to
go
hear
ahead.
something funny?
What do you
When you
got?
first moved to North Carolina, you kept telling me, oh, I'm going to Meetup, I'm going to Meetup. I remember one day I said, I didn't know what it was. I was like, what the hell is this meetup you keep going to? Because you kept driving to it. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But in fact, Marquell, do you remember the question you asked me today?
About the meetup?
The mastermind, you remember?
Right, exactly, yep.
So this afternoon, Marquell says to me, hey, are you guys still meeting on the 22nd of this month? Now, guys, you see that? A very successful internet marketer is asking about a mastermind that we have here in Atlanta. So if someone who's as successful as Marquell is asking that, and he sees the value in the connections, then you've got to understand why you need to be there as well. And typically, once you get together with your mastermind group, everyone is going to discuss what they are working on, what they're struggling with, and what they plan to do. So you're going to say, hey, guys, you know what? I'm writing a sales letter, but I'm stuck on the close. I'm not sure if the close is good. What do you guys think? And then the folks in the group is going to tell you, well, this is what you should do. Now, what happens if in your little mastermind you've got a guy who's a copywriter? He's going to say, hey, Tony, you know what? You need to do this in the close instead. And you're going to say, okay, perfect, got it, right? That's why you mastermind. The next thing is learn.
Hey, Greg.
Yep.
So let me share one thing. Another way to monetize these meetups that I found.
Yep.
Is when you go to these generic like entrepreneurial local networking events or meetups or whatever, a lot of entrepreneurs that you'll meet, they may be in real estate or they may be in, God knows what. And everybody's on here is in the internet marketing space. And even though, whether you're just getting started or not, just a little bit that when you go to these meetups and they know that you understand internet marketing, no matter how little or a lot it is, they look at you like superhuman. They're like, really, like, you using social media, like, how much do I need to pay you? I mean, you can really go into a lot of these meetups, not even from a standpoint of just pitching people on it, but just kind of just adding a little value from what you know about internet marketing, and people will pay you a lot of money just to learn what you know, learn what you know already, because they have absolutely no clue. The stuff that we talk about regularly, most people, they're like, how do you do that? And you can really go in there and create a really significant income stream when it comes to getting to that first 6 figures or beyond.
Right,
yeah,
and never underestimate how much you. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was going to say, you go there and say the word squeeze page, and they think you're from another planet.
Right.
Right, exactly.
So, just to piggyback off of that, never underestimate how much you truly know.
Yeah, I was at an event a couple weeks ago, man. I was speaking there briefly, and people were asking questions like, what's a squeeze page? There was like, what's Aweber? What does PPC stand for? I mean, it's like 100+ people there, and they're like, what's Facebook ads? They ain't have no clue.
Right.
So definitely getting out these meetup groups can be very, very, very profitable.
Awesome. The next thing is learn. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I am in love with the internet marketing process. I'm in love with learning internet marketing. It's insatiable to me. Like you could not tell me, there's not enough information that you can give me when it comes to internet marketing. So you've got to fall in love with the process and want to learn. Learn everything you can. Now, I'm not telling you to become an expert in everything, but learn as much as you can. So I'm going to tell you something, and this is going to be completely different than everything you've heard before. There is no such thing as a shiny object. There's only lack of focus and lack of implementation. Many people say, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I've got shiny object syndrome. The reason you got shiny object syndrome is because you're here, you're there, you're there, you're here, you're there, you're there. If you said to yourself, I want to be a PPC expert, is there ever enough information for you on PPC? There will never be enough. There's never enough information that your doctor could learn on how to be a better cancer doctor or a better heart doctor. Do you want your doctor to get to a point where he or she says, oh, no, I've already got too much information. I don't want to know anything more about heart disease, right? Wouldn't you say to that doctor, what the hell is wrong with you? So there's no such thing as shiny objects. It's only a lack of focus, lack of implementation. So you want to go out and learn everything that you can. So make a decision, right? Decide what you want to focus on and learn everything you can. If you want to be a Facebook expert, make that the thing that you want to be amazing at and learn everything you can about Facebook. If it's YouTube, if it's sales copy, if it's building a landing page, whatever it is, pick that one thing that you want to learn and become amazing at, and you go for it. Buy every product you can until there is nothing else for you to learn to keep you from being the expert. The next thing is you want to study. Study what's going on. Guys, keep your eyes open. Watch. So, study your competition. Do you know who your competitors are? When I was in corporate America, I knew every single one of my competitors. I knew every benefit of their product. I knew their product better than they knew their product. I know every internet marketer there is to know, and I could tell you without a doubt every product they are selling. Why? Because it's my craft. So what other products exist? What's selling? Who's selling it? Are you reading their emails? Ty, Marquell, how many times have you gotten an email from someone who says, oh, I want off your mailing list, you keep sending me emails?
I don't even look at them anymore, because to me that's not a person that's serious.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not a person that's studying. When I first got started, I studied everything. I just ordered 3 books off of Amazon today, all at 3 separate times. I ordered Perry Marshall's 80-20 rule earlier today. Then I ordered 2 other books, one which was just about an hour before we started, because I'm still studying marketing. I'm still studying business. I'm still studying personal development, personal growth. You know, and I've been at this for almost 20 years now. And when I'm 90, I'll still be studying this stuff if I'm still passionate about it.
You know, it's funny. We were somewhere, and my wife says, you know, I've got a Dan Kennedy book I'm reading or something, and she goes, you can't read a fun book. I'm like, fun? This is the best book in the world. What are you talking about?
Hey, my bookshelf is filled with fun books, you know. That's my definition of a fun book right there, you know. So you're absolutely right. I think just sticking to that for a second, Greg, because again, you touched on something that if you don't put thought into it, you'll miss it. All right? Unsubscribing from someone's list, if that person is at the position that you want to be, you should be studying everything they're doing. If you want to become a 6-figure marketer and you're not yet there, you should be studying 6-figure marketers. If you want to become a 7-figure marketer, you should be studying 6 and 7-figure marketers, right? Because you don't know everything. And even when you get to the point where you think you do know everything, there's still a hell of a lot more for you to learn, right? So now, just because you're on that email list doesn't mean you have to buy every single thing that that marketer is selling. You're still studying, right? So I just wanted to point that out right there because I think that was powerful what you touched on.
And here's a question for you guys. Type this answer into the chat box. No matter what market you want to go into, maybe you want to go into weight loss, maybe you want to go into cars, or maybe you want to go in whatever it is, right? Type your answer into the chat box. Why should you sign up to every weight loss list there is? Why should you, if it's internet marketing, why should you sign up to every internet marketing list there is? If you want to go into selling cars, why should you sign up to every single car list there is? Let's see who knows the answer to this question.
So is this a pop quiz here? We've got Tara says she's got ideas, inspiration, trends. Patrick says to study their marketing funnels. Therese says to learn, stay current, says Solomon. So you can learn as much as you can, says David. Mike says to learn their funnels, to see which is best, says Tandaria. I guess that would be a matter of opinion there. To learn what they know, says Antonia. Nova experts. Find out what's going on in the industry and with the competition. Nova Market, says Edward. So we've got some great answers that are coming in here. Did we get what you're looking for here?
It's close. Patrick wasn't too bad, but Patrick's one of my longtime students, so he cheated a little bit, right? Hey, Patrick, how are you? So here's the answer, guys. Because they're going to tell you what to sell. Think about this. You know how many times I get someone who says, well, I sent an email, but nobody bought, because you're trying to sell something they don't want. You know how you can tell you got something that they're going to buy? If you're on everybody's list and you saw 6 people send out the same email, there's a reason 6 people sent out that email. Whatever that is, it's making money.
Right.
So you don't have to guess. Not only are they going to tell you what to sell, but their emails are going to tell you how to sell it. True story. Last year when Video Maker FX came out, it came out on a Monday. I saw an email, second email, third email, fourth email. By Thursday, I got an email from my good buddy Mike Stewart. And I said, okay, Mike is promoting this thing also. It must be good. So Friday, I sent out an email. I'm 5 days late on this email. That email that took me about 20 minutes to write did over $5,000 in sales. Why is it? Because I was on everybody's list, and they told me what the new hot thing was. I had no idea. I'd never heard of it before. So don't unsubscribe from lists. Those lists are going to tell you what to sell. Secondly, you plan on selling your own product to this same marketplace. So when you have these lists with these great subject lines and you go to sell your product, what are you going to do? You're going to go into your swipe and say, Okay, which one of these guys sent a really good email that got me to open it? Must be a good subject line. Let me borrow it. Folks, if you aren't doing this, it's just you're making the work too hard for yourself. So find every person who's in the space that you want to go in 2016, get on their list. Start studying what they're emailing. Look at the products, look at the price points, because they're telling you what to do. So every time I see someone unsubscribe, I say that person just doesn't get it, and there's nothing you can do to help those people. The next thing is read those emails. Now, what I will do is, because there's a lot of them, I have those emails using Gmail. I automatically filter those into a special box because you're going to get a lot of them, don't get me wrong, but you still need to get them. The next thing is, after you read them, sign up to webinars, right? You should be on at least 1 or 2 webinars a week. Listen, I'm a product creator. I'm a seller. Yet every week I'm on at least 1 or 2 webinars. How do you think I stay current with what the best webinar strategies are? Right? So you got to sign up to the webinars and then go to seminars. I've met the best people I have ever met have come from seminars. Why is that, guys? Why do you think the best people I've ever met have come from seminars? Type that into a chat box. What do you guys think that is?
Yeah, and this is huge too. You know, Greg, so funny story here as they're typing in these answers, and we've got Paul that says like-minded.
Look at M. Miller's response. You see that?
They are serious. Yep, there you go.
Antonia, you are right, Antonia. Who went to the seminar? It's not the BS people who are joking around. It's the action takers. You're making friends with the action takers.
All right.
That's why you go to seminars. I've made more money going to seminars than probably most of the other marketing strategies I've used because you're networking and masterminding with the action takers. So make sure you do that. Make sure that's part. Whatever market you're going to go in, make sure you make a list, do some Google searches, and find out what events are going on that you can be part of.
Yeah, and you know, you're marketing at some of these seminars. You're networking with folks to a degree where it's not business. You're having fun. You're building relationships. And you're building your business at the same time. You're building long-term relationships. You know, I got a funny story. When I first went out, how many people have heard of the Marketers Cruise? If you've ever heard of Mike Phil-Sam's Marketers Cruise, just put yes in the questions box, right? The Marketers, it takes place every January. And so about 5 years ago, I go on a Marketers Cruise. First time here. I've had some of my best friends, Tom Bill, Mike Phil, same, you know, just a lot of people have told me about this thing. And I was always reluctant to go. I'm like, I don't want to spend 7 days at sea and, you know, just on a cruise. What the hell am I going to do? So I finally go. And that first year I went, I ended up making over $1 million just from going on that cruise, being surrounded by, I think it was about 500 other marketers at that time, but just building some awesome relationships with high-level marketers. I mean, Davin Michaels, Damian Zamora, Russell Brunson, you know, just a lot of heavy, high-level marketers. We built really great relationships, and within a matter of, I think it was probably about 6 or 7 months, I ended up turning that 7-day cruise into over $1 million. And I was so excited by that, Greg, do you remember what I did?
You convinced me to go.
So I said to Greg, I'm like, dude, you have to go on this cruise. I said, you would be crazy not to go on this thing because there's just so many other people. Like there's 500 other internet marketers, and I'm giving Mike Phil-Sam a huge endorsement right now. I should have an affiliate link to post
I know,
this
right?
thing, right? But you know that's the power of it. Now I'm not saying that everyone that goes to the next event or to a marketer's cruise is going to make $1 million, but you increase your chances of not only making more money within your business after the event, but long term as well, because a lot of those relationships that I developed from that initial cruise, I can still call on now to promote for me. I can still pick up the phone and say, hey, dude, I've got a webinar. Can you come in and promote this for me? Or I've got a new product that's coming up. Can you promote it for me? And at the drop of a dime, we'll set a date and they'll promote it for me. All right. But it took me being disciplined and me being willing to get out of my comfort zone and say, I'm going to go to this seminar. I'm going to go to this event, even though, I don't like meeting new people in person or whatever crazy idea my mind was feeding myself. Even though I didn't want to spend the money, or even though I didn't want to be away for this amount of time, or even though I thought that I was too busy, you're never too busy to go in and do something that's going to help grow your business. Just look at it that way. And if you guys want to know about this Marketers Cruise, as a matter of fact, just send me an email. All right. I'll put my email address in the questions box. But go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So you convinced me to go. When you told me the numbers that you made from there, I said, oh, I'm going on the next one. By the way, folks, next month is going to be my 4th Marketers Cruise in a row. Yep. I've made multiple 6 figures as a direct result of the Marketers Cruise, and I'll give you a perfect example of one. The first one I went to, you introduced me to a good friend who's become a good friend now, Tom.
Yep.
You introduced me to Tom. Tom and I just recently did a promotion on a product. This was in November, so last month. We've done almost $30,000-$40,000 in sales off of that promotion. You introduced me to him on a Marketers Cruise.
Yep. And since then,
right?
Tom and I
he was going in the same direction.
We've created a mobile app development company. We've made a ton of money. I helped Tom get to his first 6-figure year last year. And again, it was all as a result of us meeting at this event. Okay, so events and seminars, especially live seminars, are huge. Another one that we go to is traffic and conversions. And it's one that I was just going to say, even with the Marketers Cruise, we bring our wives. And it's so funny that my wife now signs up for the next year's Marketers Cruise at the very end of the most current one. So when we're going to go again in January, so on our 7th day, as we're about to deboard the ship, my wife goes in and she signs up. She's like always got to be in the top 5 of those that first sign up for the next year. All right, so it's all around fun. But this is not a Marketers Cruise webinar at all. Let's get back to the point.
Yes, let's go. So we're talking about studying, right? Because the other reason that you study is because all the work is done for you. So a couple years ago, when Ty and myself were still in Connecticut, we're talking, it must have been 2007 time frame. We were going to do a workshop in Stratford, Connecticut, but we didn't know what we were doing. So we said, hey, these guys, Stores Online, are doing a workshop in Hartford, Connecticut. Let's go and see. No, we went to the first one in, I think it was Watertown. Do you remember when it was in that movie theater?
Where was that? I forgot. I think it was Waterbury.
Waterbury.
Yeah.
So the guy is talking about how to build an online business. So we said, let's go see what he's talking about so we would know what we're going to talk about when we do our presentation at our workshop. So Ty and I, we're writing every word the guy is saying down, every single word. And there was a gentleman sitting next to me and his girlfriend. And he leaned over to the girlfriend, and I heard him whisper to her, get a look at get a load of these 2 losers over here. They're writing down everything this guy is saying. And then I leaned over to Ty and I said, if only he knew who was sitting next to him. So studying is extremely important. The next thing is network. You don't live on an island by yourself. Don't try to do internet marketing by yourself. If there's any theme you get today, it's the networking. It's meeting and connecting with people. So what you want to do, whatever market you're going to go into in 2016, make a list of who all the sellers are, not just the top sellers. Every single seller, whether they're a top seller or someone who's only making $50 a month, because that guy or gal who's making $50 a month, some of them are going to make $1 million a month at some point or another. Don't discriminate. Become friends with every single one of them. Buy their products. You want to know why you buy their products? because I can email you and reach out to you after I bought your product. You can't say no to me when I'm a customer. You could say no to me when I'm not a customer, but after I've bought your product, you owe me. So I buy things. There's things that I buy I've never even opened. It's only because I needed a way to get in the door. I've paid for $5,000 coaching programs as a way to just get in the door. Now, I also turned that $5,000 coaching program into probably $500,000 in sales. But it was my way in the door. Friend them on Facebook. Look for them on Facebook, and when you friend them, send them a message. Hey, I was going through your product, man. I just want to say that's a great course. Thanks, appreciate it. Even if you think it's the worst course in the world, tell them thanks. You know why? Because you just opened the door to someone who's going to help you moving forward. So reach out and communicate to them because your goal is to make friends with them. The key is this, and this is the mistake that most people make. I get an email. As a matter of fact, I got one just yesterday from someone. Hey, here's our new product. I'd like you to promote it. Who the hell are you? Whatever happened to hello? Right? The thing is, you reach out and you ask, hey, I see you're in the same space that I am. I'm in that space. Is there anything I can do for you? Let me know if there's any way that I can help you. You know what that person says? Hey, man, I really appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind. Hey, same here. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Well, you know, I'm glad you asked. Guys, don't start with your hand out asking for something. You reach out to them and you say, what can I do for you? And then they ingest, in turn, say, what can I do for you? That's how you're going to get there. So here's the other thing that you can do. As you start meeting people, this is something I do all the time. So I may go to Ty and say, hey, Ty, I got somebody I'm going to introduce you to. I'll go to Marquell. Marquell, hey, man, I got somebody who can really help you out with something. So find other successful people that you don't have a way to get in the door, and you may say, hey, I've got a friend that's in the same space as you are. They've got a pretty good list. You know, if you want, I can introduce you to. I think the two of you can do some business together. Who's going to say no to that? Even though you may not have anything to offer yet, but you're connecting to people. So in turn, you're the person they remember. So when you do have something to offer, bam, you're way farther ahead than everybody else. So and then creating the connections will shortcut the process for you. That's what creating the connections will do for you. The next thing is your mindset. I am very big on the mind. You aren't going to make any money until your mind is in the right place. I don't care what anybody tells you. Because if you think broke, you're going to get broke. If you think success, you will get success. And here's the reason. When you start thinking success, your brain starts acting success. It starts telling you this is what successful people do. This is what people who are making money, this is what they're doing. So you say, okay, let me go do it. When you think broke, and I'm going to give you an example of thinking broke. I had a student once who backed away. Someone was going to promote his product as an affiliate. And he backed away because he didn't know how to create a squeeze page. So he canceled the webinar. And folks, that is thinking broke. The successful person says, I don't know how to create the squeeze page, but damn, if this webinar goes off good, I may make $10,000. Let me pay some guy $50 to put the squeeze page together for me. Think success. When you think success, you will always find the answer. So stop the blame game. It ain't nobody's fault. If you aren't making the money that you want to be making, stop looking outside of the window. Look in the mirror. Stop the blame game. When something doesn't work for me, it's my fault. If the conversions aren't happening, it's not Google, it's my fault. If people aren't buying, it's not Facebook, it's my fault. What did I do or what did I not do that's not getting the people to buy the product? That's how I always start my question. What do I need to change? It's always me and I. Stop the blame game. Look in the mirror if you aren't getting or having the money that you want to be making. So with that, that means no more excuses. Stop telling yourself, I don't know how to put a squeeze page together. I don't know how to write sales copy. I don't know how to do an opt-in page. I don't know what to sell. Every time you tell yourself that, you're holding yourself back. What you need to be saying is, things that are selling and making money, what are they? People who can put squeeze pages together, where are they? People who can write sales copy for me, where are they? If I want to sell an ebook that'll make $1 million, well, what's an ebook right now that's making $1 million? Ask yourself the right questions. Stop the excuses. You can either have excuses or money, but you cannot have both, right? This is the decision. I made a decision years ago. I wanted money. I didn't want excuses. Like I said, everything that goes wrong in my life, no matter what causes it, it's my fault. I should have seen it coming. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Stop saying the word I can't. I can't tell you how many times, and I just said it, right? How many times I've heard someone say to me, I can't do that.
It's one of the most unattractive words in the universe.
Oh my God. You know how many times someone said to me, I'm not like you. I can't do that. I mean, what do I? Do I have superhuman experience or skills or something? I put my pants on the same way everybody else does. You know what you're going to replace the word I can't with? Stop saying I can't, say I won't. I won't invest the time to learn how to create a squeeze page. I won't go out and learn how to write sales copy. I won't go out and test an advertising campaign. I won't read the product I just paid for. I won't take action because I'd rather watch TV. Stop telling me what you can't do. Tell me what you won't do. I'll have a whole lot more respect for you if you tell me what you won't do versus telling me what you can't do. Because I'm going to tell you something, folks. When I finally realized back in 2002 that everything was possible, it was game over for me. I never used the word I can't anymore because I knew everything was possible. I just had to go search for the solution, or I hired someone to give me the solution. One of the two. Either I go get it or I go hire someone to go get it. So 2016, stop saying I can't. There's no such thing as I can't. Stop saying I don't know. I don't know how. Go learn it. Are you telling me you don't know what YouTube is? If you can't FTP your website, there's a million videos on YouTube how to FTP your website. If you can't create a page, you know, I had someone say to me, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this publicly, but what she said to me was, I'm not like you. I don't know what to say to an outsourcer. What? You don't know what to say to an outsourcer? How about this? Hey, I need a green website that can process payments. Can you build that? Okay, let me know when you're done. You don't need to know what to say to an outsourcer. You need to know what you want. As long as you know what you want, it's easy to tell someone, go build it. Okay? So stop saying I can't and stop saying I don't know. There is no such thing as I don't know. Go find out. Someone has the answer. So start by asking yourself the right questions. Who can help me get what I want? What is making money? Where are they right now? Who, what, where, why, when? Ask yourself the right question and your brain will get you the right answer. The next thing is spot opportunities. They're in front of you every single day. Spot opportunities make sense, right? You know, I had a young guy who he was in one of our coaching programs. He had just got it started. He was in the internet market. He was in the Atlanta area, and I said to him, hey, let's get together for lunch. You're young, you're in the Atlanta market, let's get together for lunch. I'm going to hold you by the hands and teach you some things. Week later, he goes, man, I don't know if I could do this. I think I'm going to drop out. And I said to him, all right, I'm letting you go. That's your decision because I'm going to respect your decision. But dude would have had me for over 2-3 hours at lunch to map out his future. How did he not spot that opportunity? When the opportunities are in front of you, folks, you've got to get good at seeing what the opportunities are. So what you want to do is stop focusing on cost, focus on results. I had a gentleman who got into one of my Amazon product, and I said to him, I'm going to show you the product that you're going to sell that you're going to make anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a month on. And you know what he said to me, and I quote, well, you're telling me I got to pay someone to create this audio. It's going to cost me $100. He says, no way. Hold on a second. You let $100 get in your way of making $3,000? Are you serious? You want to know something, folks? And I said, there's nothing I can do for you. I cannot help someone who doesn't have the right mindset. Nothing you can do for those folks. They're mentally broke. Nothing you can do. So stop focusing on cost. Ask yourself not what it costs, what's going to happen if I invest this? What's going to happen if I do this? Is it going to change my life, or am I going to be in the same place? If you're going to be in the same place, it don't matter if it costs $1. It's a waste of time. So ask yourself what it's going to get you. Then ask yourself, how will this help me get what I want? Now that starts by making that decision we talked about. You've got to know what you want. You've got to be clear and concise. So every action you take, ask yourself, is this moving me towards that, or is it moving me away from that? But like I said, you first have to know what you want. Successful entrepreneurs, there's one thing that they all have in common. They're good at spotting the opportunities that will make them money. You ever hear when they say the rich keep getting rich and the poor keep getting poor? It ain't that rich people are doing anything special. They're good at spotting the opportunities. When they see an opportunity, they know. And the other thing is, they don't waste time. They take action on it. No excuses. The next thing is fail fast. Now, I know you're saying, Greg, are you telling me to fail? I'm going to tell you a little secret. You know what that is? Failure is part of the process. Most of you have thought before today, I need to avoid failure. Folks, failure is part of the process. You don't run away from it. You embrace it. It's going to happen in everything you do. But what is your goal? Don't run from failure. Fail fast and move on. When you launch a product, your initial goal is to find what's working versus what's not working. Get rid of what's not working and expand what's working. So you may run an ad and you're going to spend $20 on that ad, and guess what? You made 0 sales. Now you're asking yourself, was it the ad or was it the website? Did they click on the ad or did they not click on the ad? Because if they didn't click on the ad, well, guess what? It's not the website that's the problem. It's the ad. Nobody clicked on it. Okay, let's fix this ad right quick. Now you fix the ad. Now you're getting clicks, but nobody's opting in on your homepage. Okay, is it the ad or is it the opt-in page? Well, I'm getting the clicks, so it can't be the ad now because my ad is working. Let me fix the homepage. Right? Whatever message you have on the homepage, they don't resonate with. Now you make a couple tweaks. Now guess what? You spend another $20. Now you've got a 30% opt-in rate on your homepage. So your ad is clicking like gangbusters. Your homepage is converting like gangbusters, but they're not buying the product. Okay? Is it the product or is it the ad that's the problem now? No, ad is working. Homepage is converting. Must be the price or the product. Let me do a couple tweaks. So now your product is converting at 3%. So here's the problem. You're spending $20 on the ad, but you're making $18 once you make the sale. You're still losing $2. Well, is it the product that's the problem or is it the ad? No, it's your funnel now. You don't have an upsell. So you see, it's failing fast. You fix what's wrong, and then you move on to the next. So marketing is finding out what's working, getting rid of what doesn't work, and you do it as quickly as possible. That's what your job is in marketing. So don't fear failure. Don't fear marketing. You embrace it because it's part of that process. The next thing, personal development. This Ty, that's his space. I love personal development. When I used to work in corporate America and I used to have these long drives, you know what I used to do for a 6-hour drive? I'd listen to Tony Robbins over and over and over. And so you got to focus on personal development. Just like you go out and you learn something, your brain needs to be trained. It's a muscle. If you're an athlete, Ray Allen, who played for the Celtics, he played for the Miami Heat. Do you know before every game, he would go to the stadium 3 hours before the game and just shoot 3-pointers? There's a reason why he was the #1 3-point shooter in the NBA. You've got to train your brain because this is your craft. Listen to motivational tapes. If there's anything you do today, go to Amazon and pick yourself up some motivational tapes. You've got to train your brain to start. I'm going to tell you something I posted on Facebook a while ago. If you want to elevate your bank account, you need to elevate your thinking. If you want to elevate your bank account, you need to elevate your thinking. Find yourself some motivational tapes. Elevate your thinking. Listen to podcasts. Ty got me on podcasts. Matter of fact, he just got me signed up with Apple Music. Join as many webinars as you can. Go to seminars. Listen to binaural beats. Ty got me hooked on this.
It's like crack. He's hooked on
Oh my
everything, this guy.
Do you know the first thing I did this morning, Ty? You know that new one you told me about that was called the something Ambien, whatever it was?
Ambi Science, yeah.
It's the first thing I did this morning. I put the thing on because you know you got focus or sleep. I put it on concentration and focus, and I just sat there for 20 minutes and just listened to it.
Isn't it incredible?
Because I said to myself, how can I get this body to take the action if the brain ain't in the right space? That's trying to get a car to do, that's trying to get your transmission to hit 100 miles an hour, but you got the engine of a bicycle. Ain't gonna happen.
Right.
So go out and find yourself some binaural beats. You listen to them because what that does is, you know, the science basically is you're tricking your brain to get into the right brain waves with certain activity. Sleep has a certain brain wave. Focus has a certain brain wave, and when you listen to these things, it tricks your brain. And I'm going to tell you how good it works. The first one you gave me, Ty, when my wife was having trouble sleeping, I used to put it on sleep.
Yeah, I do the same with my 8-year-old Summer.
You know, we did it every day for probably a year. You know, it finally got to the point where my wife doesn't need it anymore. No pills, no hocus pocus, none of that other stuff, just listening to the exact binaural beats that you told me. The next thing I'm going to get is, what's that ViewSonic or PillowSonic thing you
Oh,
talked
PillowSonic.
about?
Yeah, the PillowSonic.
So that's the next thing I want. Is that basically you can hook up your iPhone to it and then it'll play in your pillow without disturbing your partner?
Yeah, so basically I use a PillowSonic. I use all of his stuff every single day, right? So binaural beats, Marilyn and Antonio, someone else asked about it. I think it was Tom. Binaural beats are basically they're isochronic beats that sync to the natural rhythm of your brain. So when your brain is, let's say if you have it on this deep sleep setting, if your brain has a certain rhythm that it emits when you're in a deep sleep. So a binaural beat will emulate that rhythm, and then your brain will start to follow that pattern. All right, so it puts you in that deep sleep trance. The same thing with if you want to be more focused, if you want to be more creative, there's binaural beats for creativeness and focus, and then for just like your alertness, for intuition, just emitting just like a vibe of love and a spiritual vibe. There's just a ton of different beats that are out there. And someone was asking, where do you get them from? You can actually get them from the app or the Google Play Store. So just type in the one that I like to use, and they have a bunch of them. There's probably about a dozen of them. It's Ambi Science, AMBI Science, SCIENCE. All right. But yeah, all of this stuff, going back to training your brain, you've got to get yourself to a point where, there's a simple saying that says, in order to get something different, you have to do something different. Okay, in order to get different results, you have to do something different, right? Einstein used to say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting to get a different result, right? But a lot of us do that. We'll do the same thing day in, day out, and we wonder why we're not seeing different results in our business, because we're not trying different traffic methods. We're not trying Facebook ads. If we are trying Facebook ads, we're just trying Facebook conversion ads. We're not trying page post engagement ads. We're not trying page like ads. We're not trying video ads. We're not trying carousel ads. Or if we are trying Facebook ads, we're not trying Google AdWords ads or Google display ads, or we're not trying newsletter buy list, things like that. So again, you can't expect to do the same thing every day, but get different results. It's just insane.
And your brain will play tricks on you. Your brain will tell you, you can't do this. This is not you. Go back to that TV.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fight that urge. It's going to take you, when you're training your brain, it's going to take a little bit. It doesn't happen overnight. But once you get past the urge and you're on the other side of that curve, man, is it smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your brain as it's playing those tricks on you. You know, stay away. Don't listen to the naysayers, because everyone in your family is going to say, I'm going to tell you, when I first put that binaural beats on for my wife because she couldn't sleep, she was waking up 3 to 4 times a night. And I said, babe, let me play this for you. And she goes, what is this junk you're putting on?
Yeah.
So the next day, she said to me, thank you for the music. That's what she calls it, her music.
Right.
I said, what music are you talking about? She goes, whatever you put on last night, I slept the whole night.
Dude, and you can
And
get like 5 hours of sleep and you wake up the next day feeling refreshed. That could
it's
be a whole
sick.
nother topic. Yeah, it's insane. But yeah.
Yeah, so definitely train your brain, listen to binaural beats as much as possible.
So
Next thing is,
wait, really quickly, we got a question from Daryl. It's more of a statement. Daryl says something like, he says, I bet some people have a problem with financing as they're running a campaign. Now, Daryl, I totally get where you're coming from with that, but the thing is, so here's where I'm at. You start slow and you scale it up slow. You start slow. You start at $3 a day. I now spend sometimes between $1,000 to $1,500 a day just on Facebook advertising, and that's not including Google ads and all of this other stuff. But I didn't start out at that point. Okay, even though I have the finances to start out at that point, I still I'm not in the business of throwing money away. So as Greg said earlier, you fell fast. So I start all of my campaigns at about $3 to $5 a day. And then if I see results, I'll increase that. And then if I see more results, I'll increase it. I'll keep flipping it. So you don't have to have a lot of money to be able to get to a point where you are really cranking out with your campaigns, right? I just wanted to touch on that because I see that happen with a lot of people. They get tricked into thinking that they have to have these big budgets. And if you have a big budget, that's the worst thing you could possibly have. You want to start off small.
and I'm going to have a solution for every single one of you that answers that question also. But here's a solution that some of you may be able to implement, and that is find a partner. Every one of you knows someone who has a good job that you can say, hey, let's go into business together. We're going to do something on the internet, and I'm looking for a partner who can invest a couple $1,000 so that we can do some marketing. Find a partner. That person is, for this first project, they're your 50-50 partner. Now, every project you do after that, you can do on your own once you start making some money. But find a partner, because the amount of time that you're spending learning internet marketing and you're letting not having money keep you from investing into advertising and marketing, find a partner. You
Yeah.
got the skills already. Okay, so the next thing is know your metrics. You got to know your numbers. So things that you want to learn: click-through rate. What's the percentage of people who click on your ad? If 100 people see your ad, what's the percentage who clicks? If 3 people out of 100 clicks, you got a 3% click-through rate. That's a number you want to increase significantly, because that means more people are liking your message. Conversion rate is the percentage of people who buy your product. If you're at 1% conversion rate, so 1 out of every 100 people buy your product, and you go to 2% conversion rate, that's not a 1% increase. You doubled your sales. Okay? Your opt-in rate. Opt-in rate is what's the percentage of people who see your homepage and they opt into your mailing list. And here's one that most people never pay attention to: long-term visitor value. What is each customer worth over the period of a year or two? If that person is worth $1,000, right? Well, why would you be afraid of spending $1 per click to find that person? They're worth $1,000, right? Don't think about what it costs you to make that initial sale. What's the long-term value of the customer? Impressions are just how many people see your message. Retention, if you're doing a membership site, what's the percentage of people who are staying over what period of time? Does the average person stay for 3 weeks, or does the average person stay for 6 months? You have to make sure you know those numbers, because that affects your advertising. Cost per lead. What does it cost you to get someone into your funnel? What does it cost you to make a sale? So all these numbers or metrics, you have to know them. Then it comes to numbers. You want to make $100,000. You want to make 6 figures in 2016. Well, how are we going to do that? What is your cost to make 6 figures? Let's assume 50% cost. In other words, for every dollar you're spending, you're making $2 back. So you've got a 50% cost. Well, that means for you to make 6 figures, you need to sell $200,000 worth of stuff. Okay? That's what you're going to have left over after you have a 50% cost. So let's look at different scenarios of how you can make $100,000. Scenario number 1. You can go out and sell a $50 info product. You create an ebook, you sell it for $50, and this is the place where most internet marketers start. And it's not that it's bad, but it's not the best thing to do, and here's why. So for you to make a $200,000 divided by $50, you have to sell 4,000 customers. Guys, selling 4,000 customers is not an easy feat. You've got to do some work to do that, right? So this is the model that most people make. Or if you increase your price to $100, you only need 2,000 customers. Or if you sell a $500 item, you only need 400 customers. Or what if you have a $1,000 price point? You only need 200 customers at that point. If you're in the web design business, you only need to get 200 customers who pay you $1,000. By the way, an average website should be about $2,000, which would mean you only need 100 customers. That's only 10 customers a month. Okay, so look at selling higher price points. It's the same sales process, except you make more money when you sell at the higher price point. What if you sell a $50 item, but you now incorporate a $200 upsell? What does that look like now? 200 customers, 2,000 customers at $50 equals 100,000, plus 600 customers out of the 2,000 take your upsell, which is 30%. At $200 equals 120. So you just made $200,000 off of 2,000 customers now. You started off with the same $50 item, but the difference is you got to upsell. Well, let's see if we change that upsell into a $97 recurring revenue. So instead of charging them a $200 upsell, you're now going to do a membership site instead, where you $50 product on the front end, and then you're upselling 30% of them into a $97 per month recurring. Let's see what happens now. Instead of 2,000 customers, you only need 500 customers to take your front-end product at $50. That equals $25,000. So then you're going to get 150 customers, which is 30% of the 500, to sign up at $97 per month. Guess what? That's $174,000. Total between the two is $199,600. So what would you rather do? Do you want to sell 4,000 people at $50, or would you rather sell 500 people at $50 but incorporate an upsell at $97 a month? You make the exact same money with a fraction of the people. So think about how you're going to make that 6 figures and what makes more sense. Do you have an upsell in place? Do you have a sales funnel in place? So you got to make sure you know your numbers and how you're going to make that money. Next thing is invest in yourself. Consider yourself in your mind a temple. You are the most important element. If you aren't doing everything you can to make you better, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Every investment makes you better. Can you imagine an athlete like Michael Jordan who has holes in his sneakers? How could he be the best athlete in the world but doesn't have the right tools? So change your mindset. You don't buy products, you buy trainings that give you a competitive edge and makes you way better than everyone else in your marketplace. Right? I don't care what product you sell, you're looking for ways to make you better, and then you get people, or you execute on what you go out and learn. Next most important thing is establish your expertise. 2016 is the year you've got to establish some form of expertise, right? You've got to decide to become good at something. Stop trying to sell products. There's no money selling products. There's only money helping solve people's problems. You've got to decide, what are you going to be good at? Are you going to be good at solving weight loss issues? Are you going to become good at internet marketing issues? Or are you going to become good at car problems? Pick something that you can become good at, so you go out and you read everything you can on that subject. So when someone says, hey, who do you know that can answer questions about X for me, or who's the person you could tell me about X? They must say, oh, you've got to talk about, you need to talk to Pat, you need to talk to Bob. See, for me, when someone asks, hey, I've got questions about YouTube, or I've got questions about Google AdWords, they say Greg Cesar. When someone says, I've got a question about Kindle, they say Ty. When someone says, I've got a question about info marketing and building an internet business, they say Marquell. When someone says that, where do you fit in? What's that thing that people say, you need to talk to X person, your name is the one that they mention? You've got to think about that for 2016. The next thing is get help. Once you've established what you are good at and what you are not good at. So I'm good at traffic. I'm good at AdWords. I'm good at creative thinking. I'm horrible at organizing. Terrible. ADD, like, woo, it's to another level. I know that. So you know what I do? That's why I've got an admin who executes a lot of those steps for me. Because if it was up to me, it wouldn't get done. So understand what you're good at. Take out a piece of paper and do what I call an inventory task list. Ask yourself, what are the things that I can do realistically, and what are the things that I cannot do? If technical is the thing you can't do, you don't know how to upload a site, you don't know how to build a landing page, you don't know how to set up a squeeze page, write that down. Now that you know the things you're good at, the things you're not good at, now you start saying to yourself, okay, let me go to Odesk, let me go to guru.com. Let me find the people that I can outsource some of these tasks to, and these tasks, which I like to do, I'm going to do myself, right? So go out and get the help. Find out who you can outsource some of those items to so they no longer hold you back. Next thing, 2016, get yourself a mentor. You 100%, without a doubt, have to have a mentor. My question to you is, who is your mentor? Who is the person that you can call in the next 5 minutes to bounce an idea off of to make sure you're going in the right direction and not doing the wrong thing? Who is that person, right? And if you don't have an answer to that question, then how serious are you in business? You have to have a mentor. You're not taking your business serious enough if you don't have someone who's doing better than you in the same direction, or maybe in the same market that you are, that you can go and say, hey, what do you think about X? Even someone like Tony Robbins has a mentor. Even someone like Richard Branson, presidents. Everybody who is successful has someone that they can bounce an idea off of to make sure they're going in the right direction. So I would tell you, ASAP, start asking yourself, who is that person? And start establishing yourself and creating relationships with people who can get you there. The next thing is advertise. Many of you are terrified of advertising, but remember, advertising is part of the process. Not every ad you're going to do is going to be a winner, and that's okay, but I'm going to show you how do you protect yourself. So number one, you have to start using paid traffic to drive sales. Many of you thinking, I'm going to do SEO and that's the only thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to make $1 billion being ranked #1 in Google, until Google comes out with Panda and every other animal in the animal kingdom that they can come out with and put you out of business, right? So free traffic is good, but it's very slow, it's not scalable, and it's not reliable. I can't scale word of mouth. It's not serious. I've sold over 100,000 ebooks on the internet. You think I sold 100,000 ebooks through word of mouth? I might have been able to do a couple thousand through word of mouth, but not 100,000. The reason is because I ran advertising to do that. So if you cannot buy or cannot advertise your product or service, then you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Okay, let me say that again. If you cannot advertise your product or service, you do not have a business, you have a hobby. So advertising sets you free and gives you the business that you can control, because you can scale it anytime you want. If you have a product that people want and you have a working funnel, then advertising will be profitable. It's only part of the process. The only time advertising doesn't work is A, you're trying to sell something that people don't want, or B, you don't have a funnel that's proven to convert, right? The products in your funnel, nobody wants, so you're not getting the conversions. Advertising is just basically putting your message in front of people who want it. If they don't want it, they're not going to buy. I don't care how much advertising you want. So it's not advertising is the issue, it's demand. You've got to make sure people want your product. So here's what you want to do. This is the answer to that question of your campaigns and your budgets. You need to set a marketing budget. Put some money aside that only goes towards advertising, marketing, and testing new things. Now, for each one of you, that number is going to be different. But I'm going to tell you, this is your I don't care if I lose it money, right? Who cares if I lose this money? It doesn't matter. So doesn't matter what your budget is, set one. For some of you, it might be $10 a week. For some of you, it might be $100 a week. Let's assume you're running some Google AdWords traffic and you're bidding $1 per click. So for every person who clicks on your ad, you're going to pay $1. If you set your weekly budget as my $10, I don't care if I lose it money, that means you're going to get 10 clicks, right? If your I don't care if I lose it budget is $100, you're going to get 100 clicks. Now, at 100 clicks, I can get more data in that week than you can at $10. But who cares? 100 clicks is 100 clicks. So at the end of 10 weeks, you got 100 clicks. You're going to know whether or not this is working or not. But you didn't take your mortgage money to do that. You took your $10 I don't care budget. Don't take that money and go to Starbucks with it. Don't go to the movies with it. That's your I don't care advertising budget. Set it aside every single week, and you have to use it. Don't accumulate it. You have to use it. So run something every single week for that $10. Again, if yours is $100, run something every week for that $100. It's the I don't care money. It's not your mortgage money. Okay, so make sure you put that money aside every single week. So no matter what budget you set, it gives you something that allows you to test traffic every single week without breaking the bank. Now here's what's going to happen. As you spend that $10 every single week, at the end of the year, what does that come out to? You just spent $500-600 in advertising, but it didn't kill you. That $500-600 is going to let you find something that converts. Because as you're testing and you find something is converting, what do you do next week? Boom, I'm going to $20. It's still converting? Boom, I'm at $30. Okay, now I'm at $100. Now I'm at $1,000. But you did it $10 at a time. Very simple and easy to do. The next thing, but also what I want to say is, this strategy allows you to gather that data. Remember what I said about gathering the data? You're going to find what's working, what's not working, and then you're going to scale what's working, okay? Next thing is build a list. If there's anything you do 2016, it's to build a list of people who are interested in something that you have to sell. So what you're going to do, stop trying to sell a product. 2016, your goal is not selling a product anymore. Your number one goal is to build a list instead. Once you build that list, you're then going to offer those people products or monetize that list with products. So the steps, number one, you're going to pick your market. Whatever it is, weight loss, cars, I don't care. Pick your market. Number two, give them something of value. Don't give them a free report. Everybody gives away a free report. Plus, a free report is nothing more than a veiled attempt to write a sales letter, right? That's what a free report is. Give them something of value. I like to say this, give them something they feel they should have paid for. If you want to build a list of golfers, give them free golf balls. If you want to build a list of carpenters, give them free rulers, right? Wouldn't a carpenter sign up on your list to get a free ruler or measuring tape or whatever it is? Absolutely. But what did you just do? You just built a list of carpenters that you can sell your high-end products to. Okay? Give them something they feel they should have paid for. Then you collect their emails, and then you're going to market your product to that list, and then you're going to sell other people's products to that list as well. So you're going to use affiliate marketing as a way to monetize your list, not as a way to monetize your advertising. Okay? Hopefully that makes some sense. Next thing is focus, right? Don't try to be everything to everyone. Don't be afraid to pick one thing and stick with it, right? Don't be that scatterbrain. You're in this niche, that niche, this niche, this niche. You're everywhere. I'm gonna tell you something that Steve Jobs said about Apple. He said, "It's not all the terrible ideas that we get to say no to. It's all the wonderful ideas that we have to learn to say no to." Don't be a scatterbrain. Pick that one thing and then stick with it, and don't be afraid to do that. Once you have something working, then you can expand to other products. I can't tell you how many people tell me they've got 3 things they're working on and neither one has made 50 cents. Well, why do you have 3 things you're trying to do? Do one, maximize it, get good, and then go to the next. You're also going to do but get the one thing good before you go on to the next. You're going to do the same thing for traffic. You're going to pick a traffic source that you want to be good at. Google AdWords, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Pick one of them and become good at that. And once you become good at Facebook, then go into Google AdWords. Once you've got Google AdWords, then you do YouTube. Once you've got YouTube, then you do SEO. Then you do LinkedIn, right? Pick one of them that you want to be good at. Focus on it. Read everything you can about AdWords if that's the thing that you choose. Once you become good, then you go on to the next thing. So with that being said, guys, I want to tell you guys really quick about something we call the cash flow factory. I want to meet every single one of you guys. I want to see you guys. I want to sit down and have lunch with you. And here's what we're going to do. In April, Ty, myself, Marquell, we're doing a workshop in Atlanta, and we want to sit down with you, and we want to help you build that 2016. There's going to be, we only have space for about 100 people. There's going to be 100 like-minded, serious entrepreneurs in Atlanta, and we want you to come down, and we want you to learn. We want to hold your hands. We want to sit down with you face to face. This is not about hiding behind, courses and webinars. This is about being face to face. Got some of my good friends are also going to be coming down. So Marquell is going to be talking about how to create a 6-figure business that you are absolutely passionate about. Mike Stewart, many of you guys know Mike. He is the video marketing expert. Video is it. This is what YouTube, Google, everyone is saying this is where the future is. Mike's going to show you how to do that. I'm going to be talking about niche marketing because that is my expertise. Ty is going to be talking about how he built a 6-figure business with Amazon. And Lonnie, he is an info marketing expert. You definitely want to be there, and I'm going to tell you the early bird pricing, which it's going to be going up in a couple weeks. It's $97 for the event. Now, why did we charge $97 and not $5,000? First of all, we didn't want to make it something that kept the masses from being able to do it. Secondly, we wanted a price that everyone can afford. That's only about 8 Starbucks coffees, and you're looking at $97. So we wanted something that everyone can afford, but we also wanted to say we didn't want the people who aren't serious. If you aren't willing to invest $97 into yourself to come to this workshop, then you're not a serious person. How could we reserve that space for someone who is not serious? So that's why we have that price. But I will tell you, the early bird pricing is going to be going up to $297. So if you go to thecashflowfactory.com, you can sign up. Again, the event is going to be in April. We're going to sit down, we're going to talk, we're going to have lunch, we're going to talk about your business and where you're going. And let me tell you why we wanted to schedule this in April versus in January. We wanted you to start on your business. We wanted to, when you come down to the event, you're that much more educated, and we're going to do a couple more calls and some action steps for you. So when you come, we're going to be talking about scaling and taking that business to that next level, because you've already taken some action steps, which is very, very critical and very important. So we're hoping that you want to be there. You're going to make 2016 your year, and I hope today you've got enough of the right mindset that $97 is not going to keep you from building the most profitable year that you can have. Ty, Marquell, is there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Marquell. Did you have anything that you wanted to add in?
Yeah, I was just basically gonna say the main thing we're really gonna focus on at the event is really making sure everyone leaves with a specific action plan to go home and start getting results like immediately. I mean, because a lot of times we go to these events, we have tons and tons of notes and no action plan. So that's really the biggest thing we're going to really focus on. Really going from wherever you are in your business, whether you're just getting started or you're getting some results, but actually being able to leave and having a step-by-step strategic action plan. So it's not just like hype and filler and just a ton of notes, but you know exactly what to do to start getting results. So that's really key, and that's the really thing we're going to be focusing on.
You know, I just got an idea, guys. What if, so the folks that come down, right? Let's find out what skill sets, who has what, and what skill sets they don't have, and allow them, because it's all about networking and masterminding. Why don't we help them create the individual mastermind group? So by the end, we may have 10 different little mastermind groups from the folks who are going to be at the event.
Yeah, it's a great idea. You know, we talked about getting together and aligning yourself with folks that have a similar vision. So I think that just makes sense right there, right? Do you agree to that? If you're here uh, and you're in the questions box, just put yes if that makes sense to you. Okay.
So when you leave that week and from the
Edward
event,
says yes. Okay.
you're going to be part of a mastermind. We're going to create we're going to pair you up with people who are at the event. We're going to have everyone raise their hands. If you can do right copy, stand over here. If you can do PPC, stand over here. If you can do Facebook ads, stand over here. And if you don't have anything skills, stand over here. And then we're going to pair you in groups based on a different skill. So you're going to walk away after the seminar with a mastermind that you're going to be part of. If that makes sense and you want to do that, say aye.
Yeah. See, in an event like this, you know, we were talking about the importance of getting out of your comfort zone and coming to events, coming to seminars. With this one right here, we're going to have a ton of fun, number one. You're going to be in an environment where we'll make sure that you understand everything that's covered. You'll have multiple opportunities that you can take away from and to then go back and apply that you can use to generate money and create a business from. And then as Marquell says, you know, it's going to be something that, again, we'll be working with you hand on hand, one-to-one, hand in hand, so that you totally get everything, you totally understand everything. And at $97, what we did was we got together, folks, a couple of months ago, and we said, we want to do something that is going to be different. We don't want to charge $1,000. We don't want to charge $2,000, $5,000 for an event, because that's going to alienate a lot of people. It's going to leave a lot of people out, people who can't afford that. We want to be able to make this price point a no-brainer. All right. So at $97, every single person that's watching this can get join us at this price point. All right. I'm trying to read the questions at the same time as I'm talking to you. But you know, there's no excuse. If you have a desire to take your business to the next level, if you have a desire to get started, $97 is a price point that every single person can afford, especially since this doesn't take place for another couple of months. You get in, you pay your $97 right now from this webinar so that you avoid getting in later at that higher $297 price. And then once we sell a certain amount of tickets, we may even increase the price even more so as we start to sell more and more tickets. So at this price, you cannot afford to not get in. All right. Someone, does anyone have any questions about this event? Does anyone have any questions? If you do, go in, use the questions box. I see we still have a ton of people that are on this webinar, which is awesome. All right, that shows that we did a great job, because usually when you get webinars that go this long, people start to fall off. Everyone is still here almost, right? So that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
All right. Solomon says, how many days? This is a one-day event, Solomon, but we're also going to have, I think, guys, we decided on having a get-together before the actual event as well, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. Renee says, where is it? This is actually in Atlanta, Georgia, Renee. Atlanta, Georgia, on the East Coast here. Let's see. What else do we have? All right, so I see people are already signing up, which is a beautiful thing. We've got folks that are already taking action. So this is it. I mean, these are the types of individuals that we want to see come to this event. People that are taking action, like those that are already signing up, like those of you that will be signing up within the next couple of minutes. Do you know the actual date of the event in April? It's actually April 16th, Linda. Yes, April 16th, which is a Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we have? Bring the questions in. We love the questions. Are there any O2O upsells? Which prices, Erwin? Erwin, you know what that is right there? That is an obstacle. All right, so go in, jump in, take action. At 97 bucks, you get to come in, you get to attend the event, you get to meet myself, you get to meet Greg Cesar, you get to meet Marquell, Russell, and more importantly, you get to meet you. You get to meet the Erwin that is not yet present. All right. I always like to say that in order to get different results, you have to become a different person. And sometimes we're not even aware of who we have to become in order to get to the next level. You can't get to the next level by being, I can't get to the next level by remaining the Ty Cohen that I am now. All right. So, Solomon says, I have a question for Greg. Solomon, shoot. Greg is listening.
I am listening. While he types in his question, guys, I'm going to give you a homework. Today, take out a piece of paper and take out that little business card that I told you. You can take any business card that you have in your wallet or somewhere and write these words on it. 2016 is the year of massive abundance. Tape that to your mirror, and every day when you brush your teeth, you see that. 2016 is the year of massive abundance. Every time you take a credit card out of your wallet, every time you take your license out of your wallet, you are going to see that. And the other thing is any means necessary. When I first got out of college, I met this guy when I signed up for a network marketing thing. This guy was making $80,000 a month. This is 1996, so it's 80 grand a month in 96 is a whole lot of money. You know what this guy used to do? He used to drive from Atlanta, Georgia to Detroit every Saturday. And I remember thinking, this guy is nuts. But he was making 80 grand a month. It was by any means necessary. So in 2001, 2002, when I decided that I was going to get serious about internet marketing, I was terrified of flying. Willie Crawford was having a seminar in Pensacola, Florida. It was the first seminar I was ever going to attend. And I took a bus from Connecticut to Pensacola, Florida, 30 hours on a bus with my wife, my 6-year-old, my 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I haven't been on a bus since, I'll tell you that much. But it was by any means necessary. I said this was something I want, and I was going to do anything to get it. Let's fast forward 10, 15 years. Was it worth it? Absolutely. I'm living in the house of my dreams. I'm living the lifestyle I've always dreamed of, and I was able to do it. But that event changed my life. I met Armin Moore and Stephen Pierce, Willie Crawford, and Tony Blake at that event. That changed my life. Matter of fact, I just spoke on stage a couple of weeks ago at one of Armin Morin's event. I met him almost 15 years ago. That one event. So any means necessary. 2016 is the year of abundance. Write that down and do not forget it.
Yeah, when you have that type of determination, Greg, it's no wonder that you're the success that you are today, right?
Nothing can stop me. I'm invincible, I believe.
And that's that's the person that you have to get to. There's so many people, and luckily it's not this group that we're talking to right now, but there's so many people that will see an event like this, and although we're giving it away for dirt cheap, they'll still find an excuse. They'll still find a reason. And to them, that reason will be 100% valid. They'll still find a reason as to why they can't attend it. Okay, or why they can't come up with the $97. I'll tell you, if you can't come up with $97 to attend a life-changing event, an event that's going to be an investment, then it's going to be kind of hard to get to that point that you want to be. All right. So there you go. Again, the website address is thecashflowfactory.com. I'm going to put that into the questions box so you guys can go in and click onto it.
Oh yeah, by the way, how about we hook the action takers up with a cool bonus that they can dive into immediately? What y'all think about that?
Let's do it.
Cool. So last year, we did the same event. It was a huge success. The Cash Flow Factory was the first one. It was a huge success. A ton of breakthroughs. We got a ton of feedback from it. What we're gonna do for everybody who take action tonight by going to thecashflowfactory.com, we're actually going to give you the recordings from last year's event that you can go ahead and dive into immediately, and go ahead and start sinking your teeth into it so you can start, getting off to a running start. So everybody who goes to thecashflowfactory.com, grab your ticket. We're going to throw in the recordings from last year's event so you can actually go ahead and dive into it. So I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, so that sounds like a great plan. Let's do that. But I think that we should also limit it. I mean, do you want to give it to everyone that signs up right now, or do you want to limit it to maybe the first 15 or so? We still have well over 100 people that are still watching. I think we should turn it into a game. So those that are most serious, because I don't want to be associated with folks that are not serious.
Right. I agree. So what do we want to do? The first 15?
Let's do the first 15. And if you're already in, then you're counted. So that's fine. You're already in. We have a few people that are already in. Actually, we've got a good amount of people that are already in. So if you want to go in and get in, do so now. All right, and I'll put the URL into the questions box again. And before we close out, I want to see if we have any more questions that are coming in. Does anyone else have any more questions? We've got a ton of people that are still on here. I actually hate closing this thing out with this many people still on here, but we spent a great amount of time on this webinar and got the message across. Solomon says, I just asked a question to Greg. He wants to know about your course, Greg, that you had that dealt with 10 what is it? Oh, classified, marketing with classifieds.
Yep, I just responded to him.
Okay, gotcha. All right, any more questions before we close out? So if you want to get in and you want to also get the recordings of last year's event or the previous event that was just held a couple of months ago, it wasn't last year, it was actually just a couple of months ago. If you want to get those recordings as the bonus, you want to do so now before we close out by visiting thecashflowfactory.com. Renee, you're already in, so go ahead. We're going to actually be closing out. You can pay attention to the video on that page, Renee. Okay. Let's see.
You're right, man. It was just few months ago.
Yep. Time flies.
Yeah, man.
So we've got Nathan. Nathan is asking if you can speak on YouTube marketing for a quick second. Yep. Do it, Nathan. That's it. Quick second.
So what did he ask? YouTube marketing?
Right.
Okay, so there is so much to say on on YouTube
And
marketing.
when it comes to Greg, there's no such thing as a quick second. He likes to just over deliver. So he's going to, I mean, you've got another half hour here, Nathan, if you want, but
Yeah, Nathan, your drinks are on you, Nathan. So YouTube, there are a lot of different aspects to YouTube, but I'm gonna tell you the one, Nathan, that you want to focus on is not really the organic. Organic is great. The only challenge that I have with organic is it's a little bit more work than the paid side. I've got some friends, a good buddy of mine, John, who's excellent at the organic, but I like the paid side where I will buy my traffic from YouTube. And the reason why is, again, I can scale it. Secondly is I can create a campaign at 3 o'clock and have traffic coming in by 3:15. So it's amazingly fast to start getting traffic. But I will tell you, I don't go to YouTube with an offer that's not proven. I start by finding something that's working, something that's converting, then I go drive my traffic. That's actually one of my biggest secrets to traffic, is you only drive traffic to something that's converting. Why waste your time trying to drive traffic to something that's not proven? Because all you're going to find out is, okay, I just blew my money. But if I knew it's selling, and the example I like to use is, if you had 100 iPhone 6S's in front of you right now, would you have a challenge selling them? No, because people are lined up around the corner to buy them. I saw an ad today for something I'm getting ready to run some ads for, is those little hoverboards. Well, aren't you seeing the hoverboards in every mall across America? You think I would struggle to sell hoverboards now? Now let's picture I run an ad for a skateboard. How many people might want to buy a skateboard right now versus a hoverboard? Right? Up until the one that caught fire yesterday in the mall, but that's a different story. So that fire might have just ruined the market for me. I was like, why are they showing this all over the news?
yeah.
But the key is, YouTube, you find something that's working, you drive some paid traffic through YouTube, it's fast, it's easy, and it works.
Yeah, and when you were talking about conversions, Greg, that's for sales conversions, opt-in conversions as well as sales conversions. So if it's not working on your opt-in page, then you can't force it.
Yeah, you can't force demand. It either exists or if it doesn't exist. If you put that product out and 100 people clicked on your page, by the way, here's the other thing, guys. You only need 100 to 200 people to visit your page to know if it's working or not. So if you're spending 20 cents per click, 100 people is going to cost you $20. If it didn't convert in the first 100, I promise you it's not going to convert in the second 100.
Yeah.
Something is not right. You don't need to spend another $500 to figure out it didn't work. The $20 is all you need. That's the other secret to marketing. So hope that helps.
I think so many people get tricked into, if I can just get more people to see the page, it'll start converting.
Yeah.
But, so that's why, going back to what I said earlier about just starting with a small budget, $3, $5. I'm running some Google AdWords ads right now that I'm just re-enabling, and my daily budget is $5 a day, and these are on Google display ads. All right, because I want to know if the traffic's going to convert first, and if it does, then you can trickle it up, you can scale it up. So great response, great question, Nathan, and great response, Greg. Thank you both. All right, so we've got a lot of people. Wow, it seems like while Greg was talking, we've got a lot of people that came in that snatched up the special offer at $97 that also are serious enough to the point where they want the review videos from the event that just took place a couple of months ago. The Solomon is already in. Perfect. We've got Renee. We've got just a ton of people, too many to actually list right here. So I look forward to meeting all of you guys there, ladies, gentlemen, all of you. Maybe what we should do is, I'm wondering if we should just maybe include a few more people in this, because I would hate to leave anyone out. This has been a really engaging, responsive group right here. Maybe what we can do is I'll leave it up to you guys. What do you want to do? 15, we're definitely probably already maxed out at 15. So I don't want to have someone go in and sign up and say, hey, where's the videos? I came in. So do you guys want to increase this? How about anyone that gets in before we end this video within the next 3 minutes? How about that?
I like it.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do that.
Jeanette says, I just signed up. Is there a link for bringing a guest? All right. Actually, Jeanette, at this price, it would be per person. All right. So, and you're still actually saving, because like we mentioned, it's going to go up in price to for 297 soon. So you're still saving. All right. Can't wait to meet you there, Jeanette, and everyone else. So again, we've got about another minute and a half. If you're not in already, go in and do so. Stop playing around. Register. Be serious. Okay. And we'll see you there. Any last closing words, folks?
Yes, guys, bring every question you have, everything that has held you back, you bring it with you. We're going to solve it for you before you leave, right? Most importantly, you're going to leave with 3 mentors, not just one, but 3. If you've got a question, an idea that you want to bounce off, you're going to have some people that you can say, Ty is my mentor, Greg is my mentor, Marquell is my mentor. So you've got people who are in your corner that are going to help you get to where you want to go. But remember, this is the year of massive abundance. And right now you want to ask yourself, what is going to help me get that massive abundance? And I hope that $97 is not going to keep you from that. And if that is the case, I am sorry to say, but you are not the right mindset for the people that we are looking to work for. You should be saying to yourself, I can't believe that $97 is all I need to invest to get and learn what I'm going to learn. So hopefully you're serious. If you are, I'm going to be there. That is my hometown. So it's Marquell's hometown, and Ty lives right up the road. So we're going to have fun. We're going to teach you. We're going to be there for you, and hopefully you take action. And hopefully you're serious enough that we're going to see you there, and you're going to bring every question, everything that you have ever held you back in the past, and allow us to unwind that and get you in the right direction. So make sure you go to thecashflowfactory.com and get started.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only will you walk away with some mentors, but we always tend to make some really good friends at these events as well, some lifelong friends. So I look forward to becoming friends with a lot of you folks as well, and bring a few devices to write with, to take notes with, because you will walk away with a game plan once you're done. All right, with that said, I want to wish everyone a great night. Frank says, is this in April or January? It's actually in April, Frank. April 16th. Is this Chris? You can, if you, when you go in and register, you'll get those videos as well. Let's see. Let's see. AM, I'm going to send you an email address here. And if we have any last questions that you're thinking about asking, you want to do so now before we close out in the next 10 seconds. All right. Looks like no more questions are coming in. So with that said, thank you. We appreciate you guys dedicating. I mean, we've been on for 2 hours now. That shows the commitment there. All right. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Have a good night or good day.
Good night, everyone.
Or good morning. Bye-bye.